All right. What is it, 7? 7 in a row for your New York Knickerbockers. Folks, they call that a win streak. They call that a 7-game win streak, in case you didn't know. Listen, let's start off here. In no way, shape, or form am I saying the Knicks are locked to win the finals. It's a good thing also, let's preface that by saying it's a good thing it's February 4th, okay, and the finals aren't tomorrow. It's a good thing we've still got, 2 months left of basketball to get ready for that. That's a good thing. But I won't even, it's like, that's a stupid thing. I've always found that stupid to say during the middle of the season. But while I have doubts, and while I have doubts about whether Mike Brown is the head coach to lead them to glory, it's always really funny, interesting, and I'm saying this as a New York sports fan, seeing the complete chaos and the overreaction to normal and routine losing. Losing is routine whether you are the best sports team ever or the worst. It's going to happen to any team at some point in the season, for the most part. Even for the 16-0 Patriots who play this Sunday, guess what? It happened to them in 2008. Was it 2008? Yes. They lost. But, I thought that was crazy. The Knicks lose some games, and they have a rough stretch in the beginning of January, and everyone's calling for everyone's head. They want Tibbs back. They want this guy gone, this guy benched, this guy traded, this guy to come in and change it all. It's a routine Knicks fans go through all the time. They did this the last 6 years under Tom Thibodeau. It's what we love to do. I just think we need to relax because you don't do that in the middle of the season because there is a chance that stuff like this can happen and a team gets hot. And all the noise goes away. And all of a sudden, some of these questions aren't as big as we think. And again, I'll say it again. In no shape or form am I saying the Knicks are locked to win the title or whatever. I'm just trying to say, never get too high, never get too low. We just need to ride the regular season out for what it is. And that's what it is. It's the regular season. It's not that important. You need to get, the right standing, the right seedings. Sure, you need to stay healthy, which, maybe that's a whole other problem because I guess we could transition here to that because this team is starting to get really banged up and it's starting to concern me a little bit here. Josh Hart leaves the floor last night with an injury. I haven't been on social media a ton this morning, so I didn't see anything about it yet, but you have to worry about his ankle. Mo Diawara, how he hurts his ankle after getting beat on a back cut, and it's a shame because he was playing very well. Mitchell Robinson was unavailable last night, just the routine ankle management. You still worry about that in the back of your mind because Mitch is fragile. I don't mean that in a negative way, but you gotta be careful with him. And the most concerning one now is Deuce McBride. What started as, load management, injury management, whatever they phrase it as nowadays, has now become a lot more concerning. Because, one of the podcasts I check out from time to time is Knicks Fan TV, and CP put out a tweet because he's got some inside sources and saying that this Deuce McBride injury is now more than initially let on. And word for word here, it's Deuce McBride is getting multiple opinions on his ankle. And it's more than just soreness. So there's no timeline for his return. And that's kind of concerning. If this becomes a situation where Deuce ends up needing surgery, and, as baseball fans, we know this, getting a second opinion is usually not a good sign. But if it becomes that where he needs to get surgery, I think it's a little dramatic to say the Knicks are finished. But whatever the level below finished is, I think it's fair to debate whether they're there. Having Deuce is so important. And again, not even putting him in a vacuum, like his box score numbers are great. I'm not talking about that. It's all the stuff we've been talking about for the last 2 years. Having him out there with the first unit, with Mikal, with Brunson, with Cat, with OG, that lineup is what gives the Knicks the most spacing because it is your 5 best shooters on the floor. It's not just 5 shooters on the floor. It's your 5 best floor spacers out there. He's got that much gravity. So when he's out there with those 4 guys, it gives Cat and Brunson the right switches and the right matchups so they can run action together. It creates real spacing in the lanes because now everybody's got to stay home. And on top of that, you're losing Deuce's point of attack defense if he's not out there. So this is really concerning. You hope that he's okay. But on a bright spot, even without Deuce last night, the Knicks were able to get Cat and Brunson the right matchups, and they were able to even space the floor because they played the right guys. And part of that is also Washington trying to tank so they weren't going to cross-match Hart and Cat. But I want to start there because that's something we've been on all year, right? Karl-Anthony Towns last night, listen, he didn't end up with a ridiculous line. It's still been, friggin' 2 weeks maybe since he's last scored 20 points. But he had himself a good game. And really, when the game was over, it was after the first quarter, the first half, and he had most of his points in that first half. He finishes with 19 points, 15 rebounds. Excellent first half for Cat. And why did he have a good scoring night? Well, again, the Wizards, for one, are tanking, so they weren't going to do what you probably should do is cross-match Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart when the starting lineup's out there. So they kept Sarr on Cat. They kept Bagley on Cat. And you saw a number of baskets between both him and Brunson that the Knicks were able to exploit. Them keeping the big on Cat, right? Brunson's first basket of the game was the Knicks' first basket of the game. He comes off Cat and DHO to force the switch. Now he has Sarr in space, and he's able to score on him. Doesn't happen if Cat's got a wing. They switch the wing to Brunson, it's much harder. I think at the top of the third quarter, very similar action. Brunson comes off Cat. The Wizards switch it. Now I think it was Sarr or Bagley at that point. It was Sarr because it was the top of the second half. Brunson scores on him. I think in the top of the second quarter, I think it was Cat's third make of the game. The Knicks are in 5 out. So there's no Josh Hart on the floor. There's 5 shooters on the floor. So Washington was forced to stay home. They're forced to keep Bagley on Cat. So what happens is Cat from the top dominates Bagley on a drive. He drives all the way from up top to the rim, gets downhill in space because nobody can send help since they have 4 shooters outside him, spacing. He had a pump and drive on Sarr for a finish because they had the Cat. They had the big on Cat. And even that was with Hart out there. They were just playing stupid or trying to tank. I think Cat's only 3-point shot that he knocked down was with Sarr on him. And, when you have a big out there on Cat, bigs are naturally just going to play back. They're going to drop. So Sarr was dropped on Cat. He got an open look out of it. It may have came out of a blob or a slob. And a couple of times he got to the line with the big matched up to him. So that continues to be a trend here, and it's obvious that's when the Knicks get their best offense. And if you're going to play Cat at the 4, it's okay as long as Mitchell Robinson is out there. Because at least if Cat's at the 4 with Mitch at the 5, then Cat's actually at the 4. You know what I mean? Like he could actually play the 4 on defense too. He doesn't have to be in pick and roll. But if Cat's at the 4 on offense with Hart as your de facto 5 with the big on him, Cat's still got to play the 5 on defense, obviously. So it's just, that's the lineup we want to see. It's the matchups we want to see. So a great job from Cat. Great job from Brunson. Great job from the Knicks and Mike Brown, credit to him, exploiting those matchups. But I thought Mikal Bridges was the best Knick last night. And I mean, it was so nice to see because he's been, you know how Mikal's been. Mikal's been Mikal. Ups and downs. And some days we feel like it was an overpay. Some days we feel like this is the guy we paid for. 23 points last night, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, couple of blocks. He shot 8 for 10 from the floor, 3 for 4 from 3, 4 to 5 at the line. Look at that. Mikal Bridges. When was the last time Mikal got to the line 5 times? A great night offensively. I thought he looked good defensively. I think he's looked pretty good on that end of late. Not just in help off the ball, but also at the point of attack. It's been a little better. So I'm going to give him his 5th game ball of the season. Well deserved for Mikal last night. And on the season, the Nick Wing, who continues to just be durable and play every night, and maybe that's the reason he's so inconsistent. But he is averaging on the year 16 points on 51%, 39% from 3, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. So, nice game for Mikal last night. And then you go to the bench, and look, all of a sudden, I mean, Landry Shamet is really making a case here. Again, he hasn't played enough games to qualify, but like, you know, if he was healthy all year, 6th man of the year wouldn't be out of the question. Maybe it would, but I mean, he could at least be a candidate. Because the kid's just been great. He's having a career season. You know, 10 points a game now. 46% overall, but 45% from 3 on about 5 attempts. And he's only playing 21 minutes a night. So you stretch that out to a per 100 possession rate or a per 36 minute rate. The volume's there, and he's knocking them down. And last night, Landry Shamet goes for 14 more points, 5 for 8 overall, 4 of 6 from 3. It's the shooting. It's the movement off the ball, the relocations, the cutting. That's manipulating help defenses. And it's the point of attack defense that remains very strong with Deuce. So good game for him. And while we're talking about the bench, quietly, very nice night for Huck Porty. 12 points, 9 rebounds and assists, 2 blocks. He was 5 for 6, and he even knocked down a 3. He took a couple of them. Knocked one down. Not a great looking shot, but that's important. You want him to start shooting. Just to show the defense that you have a shot and to force them to come up, which opens up the paint. Mo Diawara, it's such a shame, and hopefully he's okay, because those 4 minutes he played were so impressive. I am really intrigued with this kid. I think there is some NBA upside here, whether that's upside as a rotational player or something bigger. There's some upside here. I mean, he's shown a lot of ability. He's a long wing, which means, you know, with that wingspan, maybe there's some switchability there if he can handle the agility, slide side to side on his feet. But he can put the ball on the floor well. You saw that. He attacks and pick and roll. Nice finish and crossover on Sarr. That came in the first quarter, and he also had a nice paint touch, and he ended up making, it was like a paint touch to a spray 3 later on in the first. Looked like Randall out there. He drives on somebody. I forget who it was. I think he drove on Middleton. Drives right, gets into the paint, and kicks to the weak corner, and Shamet knocks it down. Just really impressive stuff. And if the shot starts to fall, that's a whole different story. Again, just to force the defense to come out, to come up. Show them you have a shot. And then he gets hurt. So hopefully he's okay. It seemed like he was better than we initially thought, because Tyler Murray mentioned in the, I think in the second half or the end of the first half that he was, he mentioned after halftime that he was warming up on the court during halftime. So might be better for him to just take a seat. You know, All-Star break's coming up. Just heal. But he looked good. OG Anunoby, it's nice to see him back. He continues to really shoot the ball well. It's getting better and better and better. You know, he went through a little bit of a slump, but he's shooting the ball better. The defense is coming around. Yeah, it was a good win. It was a win the Knicks needed to get, and they got it. So they continue a stretch of play that is just insane right now, because you look at some of the numbers, and I'm going to try to pull it up here if I can get to it. During this 5-game win streak, the Knicks have some absurd team numbers. Did I say 5 game? 7 game. During this 7-game win streak, they have some absurd numbers. I'm going to try and get to it really quickly here, pull it up on my phone. So in the last 7 games, during this streak, the Knicks offense is number 2 in basketball, just a 10th off of the Sixers for number 1. Their defense is number 1 in basketball by a wide margin, giving up 95.9 points per 100 possessions during this 7-game streak. The next closest during this streak is the Hornets, who've been playing very well, but they're at 106.3. That's their defensive rating. That is no shot to the Hornets. That's just how incredibly efficient this defense has been. And so because they're playing great offense and otherworldly defense, their net rating during this 7-game streak is 25.3. The next closest, again, the Hornets, 14.2. Net rating is just point differential per 100 possessions. So just absurd shit. It's nice to see this defense doing what it's doing. Again, they haven't played the best of competition, but you know what? I'm not looking at that. I'm trying to get wins. I'm trying to get a better seed. And so it's just nice to keep getting this. So I think that's all. Usually the first of back-to-backs, we like to keep it short. Short shelf life on the episode. So they're playing the Nuggets tonight. They're back at the Garden, which is good. The Nuggets obviously dealing with injuries themselves. Jokic is still out. But that's who the Knicks have. We'll see who's available. We'll see who's not. But it's Knicks-Nuggets tonight, 7 p.m. game. Is Jokic still out? I think he is, right? Didn't he get a big injury? I haven't been following the NBA too much outside the Knicks recently. Let me just check, because I'm pretty sure Jokic is still unhealthy. I don't know. Can't find it. But that's all we got. I appreciate you all, and we will see you soon. Later. Hey guys, thank you for listening to BD4. Be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.